84 years after start of the Second World War. Simon Tisdall's proposals to support war in Ukraine, i.e. admitting Ukraine to NATO and the EU risk starting a Third World War. Do not unplug Kiev now. World Affairs Commentary. With thousands killed and the country destroyed, it's time to think about reconciliation. Since Ukraine's final victory seems impossible, realpolitik should replace wishes and negotiations should begin as soon as possible. It is a tragedy that mostly young men lost their lives on both sides. The egos of leaders on both sides need to be understood and managed. Talking is the only human way to progress. Mary Davies Lymington. Hampshire There are two political formations for which the Ukrainian war is an existential struggle. One is Ukraine. If Putin wins, Ukraine's independence will end. The other is NATO. The alliance today faces the reason for which it was founded: the armed occupation of a sovereign European nation by Russia. There can be no doubt that Putin would have won the war by now if NATO had not supplied weapons to Ukraine. But NATO could not refuse then and cannot refuse now. If it continues like this, it will lose its credibility. Why should anyone believe in the alliance if it will fight in Libya and Afghanistan but not support a country that is doing what the alliance wants to do? If Putin wins the war, NATO will die and the EU will suffer. If not disintegrate, European democracies will once again face a confident and belligerent dictatorship with expansionist plans. Therefore, any international conference to discuss trade in Ukrainian lands for Putin's peace must be held in Munich. To remind everyone of what happened the last time Western politicians today traded a third country's territory for peace. Knut Djupedal Selje. Norway A plan for better schools. Labour's education ambitions are laudable. But like other parties, they fail address the question of how to address crumbling infrastructure. Teacher shortages, discontent among parents, pupils, labor buildings, professional services must be properly funded, workload issues resolved, create a solid foundation for the future. This means working with professions, solve the core tasks of managers and classroom workers to focus people's minds. Inevitably, there will be gaps that social services and work of sure start will need fill. A vision beyond the crude dividing lines between North and South would be welcome. Better work can be done to support coastal areas. There is a dire need to focus on families where parents hold 2 or even 3 jobs. Breakfast clubs are welcome but are not enough to solve the problems in primary schools. Free school meals as a way of distributing extra funding is no longer enough to make a real difference to leveling up. What we need is a government that understands that to build world-class education it is necessary to tackle wider issues first. Yvonne Williams Ryde. Isle of Wight, give the king a break. You judged His Majesty very